Peter, thanks so much for your time and congratulations on the production beat. But of course, profits did fall in this year, and I want to understand the factors that contributed to that, the impairment, the losses on your debt. Are those once-off, or is this something that might stay with you in the year ahead?
Yeah, thanks, Fifi. Yeah, the impairments we had because we just year-end we have to reassess our long life of mine plans. We used a much lower gold price this year than compared to the previous year due to the external factors, obviously the gold price at this point in time. I think we were quite conservative in the gold price. We used a 535, which is actually below the current spot. We also looked at acquisition multiples in the last few years and used those multiples to evaluate the undeveloped resources. And for that reason, that's much lower than we used to be using in the past, and for those two reasons that we the biggest reasons for our impairment.
Sure. So this is something that's not likely to continue going forward?
Yeah, well, hopefully we won't see a further drop in the gold price, so that
sure.
will, yeah, and that will obviously not happen again. Yeah.
I mean, because that gold price, I mean, it's keeping many mining bosses awake at night. We've seen the announcements of restructuring in that sector, but you have benefited from your hedging strategy this time around. Can you take me through that and how the company hedges?
Yeah, we looked at about 3 years ago. We started with our hedging, current hedging strategy. We got approval from the board how we'll do it. And what we're really looking for is to lock in very good margins. If we can find very good margins, we hedge. We're doing short-term hedges, not longer than 2 years. And then the second thing to that is obviously we don't hedge all of it, so we don't give all the upside away should the price turn. But so far we've been very, very successful in the hedging. I'm not an expert in hedging, but certainly in my team we've got a few guys that's actually done quite well. Mm-hmm.
But you are an expert on the market dynamics of gold, and can you speak to me about that? What will drive future demand, and particularly the gold price that we're seeing now, mostly on the back of a stronger dollar, but where are you seeing it headed?
Yeah, well, if this dollar remains stronger, that's going to be a problem for the gold price going forward. But we believe the moment it turns, it will actually be in favor of the gold price. So certainly I'm a gold bull, like any other gold mining person is concerned. But I think the things that we need to focus is on the things that we can do, and that is to perform well, improve our grade, do the kind of acquisition that we've done now with Moab Khotsong, and also find a way for, like we did with Hidden Valley, reinvest there. So we've got some very high margin operations going forward.
Right, so let's talk about those reinvestments then, or the reinvestment of Hidden Valley and the acquisition of Moab Khotsong. What are the plans?
Well, Hidden Valley we completed. We actually, on the 1st of June, we were in commercial levels of production. So we actually completed that project. It was a well-run project. It was done safely and without any lost time injury, which is quite a big thing if we think about all the contractors who were on site. And we did it below budget and within schedule. So that project, we are quite happy to be back into mining now. So we believe that performance is going to do well. Moab Khotsong we've got into our portfolio for 4 months in the year. We actually integrated the first 3 months. We used the time to integrate the Moab Khotsong in our portfolio. June was the first clean month of Moab Khotsong in our books. We're very happy with the performance of Moab Khotsong, and we've seen some good grade improvements and also good production improvements.
But of course safety wasn't the best that it could be in this period. Quite a number of mine workers lost their lives, some 13. What is your plan to ensure that workers don't go to work to die?
Yes, we this year we haven't done well as far as fatality is concerned. We obviously on other safety parameters we've done the best ever, but certainly on the fatalities, and we're really on the back of 2 big incidents. The one is the Kasazaleti incident happened in October last year, and then also the incident at Joel, we had a multiple fatality. Now these 2 incidents really put us back because we were really at our best performance a year before. But having said that, nobody must come to the mine to die, and we in actual fact we have already embarked on 3 years ago on a new safety campaign, the way to how we're going to manage risk and how we do things in harmony, which is on track with probably the best in the industry in terms of how we want to manage the risks. It is end of this calendar year, the full rollout will be completed in harmony. We obviously still have to bring Moab Khotsong also now on board. So it is a process of actually improving all the time, but we work with all our stakeholders on safety and improving of safety, and we're comfortable that the things that we're doing is going to give us the results that we're going to need to see.
Right, so this time next year we'll be looking at lower fatalities at Harmony.
We certainly pray for that, yeah.
For sure. Wage negotiations. So what can you tell us? We do understand that talks there are still at a standstill. When do you expect things to be concluded?
Well, we're obviously now in the crunch time of the wage negotiations. We are really in a process now where people are, maneuvering to get the final things. I'm comfortable that we will have a good outcome, both for the company and for the employees. Certainly in the current environment, Harmony as such didn't have to retrench at all during the last 3 years, and certainly not planning to do anything of that kind.
So you're not planning to follow the same course as the likes of Impala, even Anglo Gold Ashanti, that have to let go of quite a number of thousands of their workforce? Yes,
I think we always were able to reduce the workforce when we had to do it. So so we don't have this big announcement that we have to make and do a big restructuring within Harmony.
Sure.
We believe if the current prices prevail, and obviously this current cost levels prevail, we don't have to retrench anybody in Harmony in a foreseeable future.
I mean, Peter, shareholders that we speak with on the channel, rather not shareholders, maybe I should call them better investors that we speak with, are very downbeat about mining in South Africa. Not to mention the fact that it's expensive for you miners to do your job, but the ground is too deep, and then there's the risk of fatalities. And then there's the other part of it where there's so much of policy uncertainty, and government and the private sector are not meeting each other. I mean, in terms of creating shareholder value, what can you say to some investors about South Africa's mining sector and how you see it and whether it's worth putting your money on?
Yeah, we have just made a big investment in South Africa, $300 million that we invested in buying Moab Khotsong. So obviously we are, as a company, has always been very, very comfortable working in South Africa. We've been operating here for now, I think, close to 70 years, and we will continue to be operating in South Africa. So we believe South Africa, obviously there's always relativity in terms of where things on jurisdictions, what is good and bad. But we have good things going for us in South Africa. We've got a very good judiciary system, people that, I think we can work well with our employees. We work well with the people that we have. We believe there's quite a big, still mining to be done, and especially on some of our operations. So we're not shying away from South Africa at all. But obviously all the uncertainty and things is obviously impacting on, we can't say it doesn't impact on South Africa, it does impact on South Africa. But we're comfortable that we as South Africans will always be there to take us forward and to take the country forward and work in the best of all stakeholders.
I mean, Peter, you're committing now to say that, excuse me, the restructuring that is happening right now at many mining companies is something that Harmony has already been through. But now everybody's talking about this fourth industrial revolution and how everybody needs to come on board with technology, and mining companies also need to be more efficient by making their productions more mechanized. So within this new future that we're operating, or this new normal, I mean, what does that mean for Harmony? Are you taking it upon yourselves to instill your workers to be fourth IR ready? What's the thinking around mechanization and technology and what this means for workers?
Yeah. By the nature of where we are in South Africa, over time we will evolve into more mechanized mining and more, even Harmony itself. If you look at the future of Harmony, we certainly in 10 years from now will have lots of more mechanized kind of operations just by building Wafi-Golpu in terms of our portfolio. Having said that, I think we've never been in a better position at this point in time in our lives where, especially robotics, the way we do things in South Africa or in the world out there, that we can find ways of making our operations more safer and making it more mechanized and actually remove the people out of the danger zones. And I think, we as part of the South African mining industry are investing an enormous amount of money and time and effort through the project Pakisa that we started with the help of a DTI to actually develop those technologies that can help us going forward. Having said that, we are one of the big underground gold mining companies, so we need to be on the forefront of that. We can't be on the back burner of that because if we don't do it, nobody else will do it. So we have to find ways. We as Harmony is also doing a lot of work in terms of research as far as rock engineering chair at the University of Pretoria that we sponsor to find research in terms of mining at depth and pillars more safely, and that all goes about extraction rates, preconditioning and all of those kind of research that's being done at the moment. And we have been very in the forefront as far as that's concerned in sponsoring that research. So certainly technology and research will take us forward. And we've never been in a better position than we are now, because for quite a few years we just accepted our fate, for that matter.
Sure.
And haven't done much in terms of renewing our organization. And we're now in a very good position to do that.
Well, Peter, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much for your time. And that was the Harmony CEO, Peter Steenkamp.